The last 30 days, I've generated over 170 million views over 4 social platforms. As you can see here, 63 million, 10 million, 29 million, 67 million, all from my social personal brand, ZTA Training, which is focused and catered around soccer. And this is all done through a simple content system that I'm going to show you in this video. This 4-step content system, if you apply it correctly, will get you hundreds, tens of millions of views each month, and will change your brand and your business as a whole. So first, starting with number 1 is finding your niche. Your niche is the group of people that you're creating content for. For us, it was soccer. So we're going to be targeting kids from 12 to 18 years old who play soccer and want to sign for a professional academy or want to sign for a professional team, who want to take their game to the next level. Why? Is because your content needs to be targeted to one group of people. If it isn't, you'll have a very diverse audience, which number 1, it will be very hard to sell to, because when you upload a piece of content, half of them are disengaged, which means half of them aren't even interested in what you have to sell. So let's say you have 100,000 followers, but only really 50,000 people are in that niche, actually care about what you have to say. But when you upload a video, your videos get pushed to your core audience, which means the people who follow you. So that as well will hinder the video's performance, meaning it won't even reach the majority of those 100,000 people that follow you. Second, the analytics will be very skewed. You will never truly understand audience behavior consistently, which, like I said, it will be very hard to go viral because the video goes to your core audience. And if half of your core audience is people who aren't even interested in that niche, it will be very hard to sell to and actually convert your followers into fans and people who buy what you have to sell. And that is super important, right? You want to make money off of your page. And whatever you sell, coaching, a product, whatever it may be, you still, like, having a very engaged audience, 100% interested in what you have to say in that niche is super important. So keep that in mind. How to find your niche? Well, there's 3 questions you have to ask yourself. Are you an expert? So what are you really good at? Do you have accolades to back that up? For me, it was soccer, and I was at a professional academy and I documented my journey. So I was an expert at soccer. Second, you have to ask yourself, do you enjoy it? If you enjoy it, and if you like doing it, well, for longevity is super important, because if it's something that you know you don't want to do in 2, 3, 4 years from now, or a year from now, well, you're going to end up resenting it. And let's say in 2, 3 years, when you build a successful business and you hate what you're doing, you're going to eventually end up quitting, or you're not going to have as much passion to take it to the next level. So it has to be something that you enjoy and something that you're an expert in. And the whole expert part, you don't need to be an expert right now. Obviously, it makes it a lot easier to sell to and make content on something that you already are very knowledgeable on. But this is something that can be developed over time. And third, does the market want it? There's no point of being super educated on a random topic that you enjoy creating content on and that you want to make a business out of, that no one actually wants, if that makes sense, right? Because then it's going to be very hard to monetize to that audience, or if that thing isn't in demand. Let's say soccer. Soccer is the most popular sport in the world. The market people want to go pro. Oh, that's a desire that they have. A lot of people want to go pro. It's one of the most desired professions in the world. So we know the market wants it. The World Cup is coming around, so it's very high in demand. I enjoy it, and I'm an expert in it. Okay, so this gives us social proof. This gives us evidence that, okay, what I'm creating my content around is something that's going to make me money. It's something that's going to make me money, so I'm able to turn my content into an actual business and make money out of it, and I'm able to live the life I want to live. So super, super important that the market actually wants what it is that you have to sell. Do not do anything random, like, let's say you're good at water polo, right? But there isn't high demand for water polo. Yeah, you may get a ton of views. You may build up a pretty big audience, but if people just don't desire getting better at water polo, if people just don't desire wanting to go pro, and you can't make a product out of it, and you can't monetize anything around it, then there's no point. But you're not going to make money, and ultimately, as much as I'd love to make content for fun, there's gotta be a monetization and a monetary part to it, so you can continue doing it for longer and make better content and put your 100% focus in that realm. So super important you ask yourself these 3 questions before you go ahead and start your content and start your page. Other things to remember. First, who is my audience? You want to be targeting people who have money to spend. Another thing to keep in mind is a big mistake we made with football, with soccer. Obviously, we're the biggest page, education page in the world, so there's exceptions. But if we had 1.3 million followers, let's say selling a content course to someone with 1.3 million followers, selling to people who want to get better at something that have money, I would be making 100 times, 200 times the money I am right now, just simply due to the sheer fact that I'm targeting people who have money. So that's a lesson that we had to learn. So if you starting out now or wherever you are in your content journey, if you're not targeting people who have money, eventually when you do end up monetizing your audience, it's going to be very hard to sell. Just keep that in mind. It's much easier to sell to people who have money. So yeah, remember, you're not a business. Remember, you are a business. You're not a personality. Okay, so making money off of ad spend, yeah, it's cool, but it's very hard to get hundreds and hundreds of millions of views on YouTube to even make money from it, because Instagram doesn't pay you. TikTok doesn't pay us because we're in Canada. The only real platform that will pay you is YouTube, and trying to make a full living off of YouTube, especially just starting out, is going to take a longer time. And a lot of people are creating entertainment content, so it's going to be a slower burn to eventually get to that level where you're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 just purely off of views and reach. I know there's brand deals and sponsorships that will come in and trickle in here and there, but it's much easier to reach those numbers when you're creating educational content and teaching people about something and selling to people who want that desired transformation. And yeah, we get, as you can see, we get tens of millions of views a month, and the most we make is 4,800. This is 29.7 million views, and some people will never reach that amount of views, and we only make 4,000 or 5,000 from that, and that's Canadian as well. That's and you get taxed on that money as well. Something to keep in mind. So that 4,800 really turns into 3,900. It's not even in USD. So USD is like 3,100. And that's 30 million views in the past 30 days. So that is a lot of views. And to only make that much money is a bit crazy. So that's what I'm telling you. Educational content is where it's at, and that's where you're going to make the most money, and that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck and time spent. So focus on educational content. If you're making entertainment content, I would stop, I would pivot, just because in the long run it's not worth it. And especially from a money perspective, you're going to make a lot less money purely making entertainment content. And entertainment content as well, it's not consistent. Nothing is ever consistent, but markets shift in terms of Q1. So around January to February, or even around till June, you're going to make a lot less in the first half of the year than you are in the second half of the year. So it's very inconsistent, and markets fluctuate, different things can happen. So purely focus on educational content, and that's how you're going to scale up to the 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 marks. So yeah, it's much easier to sell to someone who has money than a kid or students who don't. Just something to keep in mind before you go out and start creating content. You want to first identify who your ideal client avatar is and really double down and make content for that individual. Lastly, get very specific. Your page should be providing a solution to a very specific problem. Do not go broad within a topic. Get very specific. For example, do not become the person who talks about how to lose weight. gain weight, how to work out, how to run a marathon, how to increase stamina, how to train for basketball. Again, it's going to come back to the very first thing, where you're going to be creating a very diverse audience, which would be very hard to monetize to and sell to. And yeah, you're going to have a lot of followers, but they're not really going to convert to anything. And it's going to be hard to actually go viral, because when your video first gets published, it goes out to your core audience, which is your followers. And once that happens, if half your audience doesn't even enjoy watching that content that you have to that you push out, then it's going to be hard to create banging videos that get you millions and drive traffic to your offer and page as a whole. Something to keep in mind. Instead, find a very specific niche within your space and address everything within it. You create a very focused audience in one space. You may not grow a massive audience, but the quality of viewers you achieve is much higher. Now, before you go out and create content, yes, views are super important. You need to get views. But second, the quality of views is what really matters. Because when you go out and monetize an audience, when you go out and sell an info product to an audience, you want to make sure the views that you're getting actually have a chance into converting into paying customers. And this is why sometimes I tell a lot of my students, I tell a lot of the creators that I work with to stop going too broad, or get even more specific. Because let's say a channel that only identifies and targets people how to lose weight and gain weight, well, they're targeting people who want to lose weight and gain weight. So every single view that they get is someone who's interested within that topic. It's much easier to sell to 100 people. Let's say you get 100 views, 100 people who watch the video until the end, or watch the majority of the video who's interested in that topic, than to sell to 10,000 people that half of them aren't interested within that topic. Half your audience isn't even about the thing that you want to monetize about. So let's say half your audience doesn't even care. The other half just watches the content for you and doesn't really watch the content for what you have to offer, who just click on the video because they've subscribed to you. So really, out of that 5,000 or 10,000 views, again, there's probably only 30, 40, 50, 60 people who actually care about what you have to say. And going back to the weight loss example, let's say you upload a weight loss video that gets 10,000 views. So now there's 10,000 focused eyes on that video who actually want to learn about that topic. And all your audience your core audience is people who just want to lose weight and gain weight. So every single subscriber that you get, every single view that you get is someone who wants to learn within that topic and actually listens to you for advice. And they're more willing to watch a longer video that you have, more of that video, because they actually want to learn about that thing that you have to teach, and they're more willing to actually convert into paying customers. So remember, within finding your niche, you want to find a niche that you're an expert in, you enjoy, something that the market wants, and you don't target kids. You mainly target people who have money, and you're very specific and with the solution that you're going to provide. Second, now that you have this, going to the second is which platforms. So the platforms depend on your niche and who your audience is. Stated right here, simply understand your ideal client avatar. So who is the person that you're creating content for? Where does someone who's interested in the content you want to create spend their time? What is their behavior like? You can search this up and kind of figure it out online. Another way to just do it is just simply see yourself as let's say I'm creating content for people who are 40 years old and have menopause. So now I'm targeting women who are 40 years old. Women who are 40 years old. Where are women who are 40 years old? What does a typical day in the life look like for them? Who are they surrounded with? Try to understand who you're creating content for on a deeper level. Then choose that social platform you will present on. So women who are 40 years old who suffer with menopause, who are mothers, they're mainly on YouTube, Facebook, because Facebook has a much older audience. Maybe LinkedIn, and then maybe Instagram. They're probably not going to be on TikTok. They're probably not going to be on X. They may be on LinkedIn, but it just depends on that individual. So but they're mainly going to be on YouTube because everyone's on YouTube, Instagram, most likely because a lot of because of their children and stuff, like a lot of these individuals are gonna mainly be on Instagram just to keep up with their kids and see what they're doing and all that good stuff. So they're mainly gonna be on these 3 platforms. So we're gonna be creating content for these 3 platforms and maybe this, but definitely not X, definitely potentially not this. But if I'm creating content on this, I can create content on this. So it overlaps, right? So just understand who you're creating content for, and once you understand who you're creating content for, you'll understand where to post these videos and where to create an account on. Here's my analysis on platforms if you're a bit confused, right? So YouTube, everyone should be on YouTube posting long form content, right? Doesn't matter who your audience is, 60, 80-year-olds, 10-year-olds, everyone is on YouTube. Even kids as young as 2 or 3, their mom puts a little cartoon for them to watch, and it's on YouTube. This is the best social platform out of every single one that I've listed here. People watch your content for minutes compared to seconds. So when people watch your content for minutes, they trust you more. They see you more as an authority. They're more likely to become fans and making it easier to sell to these people. Okay, so everyone is on YouTube, no matter the demographic as well. YouTube is also the biggest social education platform out of all. Has the best search engine optimization, so when people search something up, your video will come up if it's within that topic. Okay, so not being on YouTube is killing your business. I just understand that. Everyone is on YouTube, so you need to be on YouTube as a creator. It doesn't matter what you create content on. If you want to create a real engaged audience that you want to eventually sell something to and make a lot of money on, you need to be on YouTube. Some creators don't even have Instagram or TikTok or any of these other platforms that they even create content on. I know creators that don't even create content on Instagram or TikTok, but just create content on YouTube, and then eventually this major audience trickles down to Instagram and TikTok. And they create their whole livelihood just off of YouTube. Okay, so YouTube is the most important social platform that out of any platform out there. So create content on YouTube no matter the audience. Second is Instagram. Besides YouTube and Facebook, Instagram is the next biggest social platform. You must be on Instagram, and building an audience on Instagram is the second most rewarding. It's the most active social platform. By that I mean people are always on Instagram, DMing, looking at stories, liking, following, right? There's an aspect to it. There's an aspect to Instagram that YouTube doesn't have, which is the DM feature, the stories feature, right? I think they have the stories feature, but it's not as engaged as Instagram, especially when you want to engage a younger audience as well, especially when you have a younger audience too. So yeah, it's the most active social platform. You can directly engage with them in the DMs in a way YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook can't. People don't just watch videos here as well. They engage with stories, pictures do well, longer videos, all in the same way. Okay, so some people just build an audience off of Instagram and that's it. Just like YouTube, when you have a certain amount of followers, you're guaranteed a certain reach, so your audience means a lot more. To give you an example of this is, we have 1 million followers. So if you look at our views, it's super consistent. 100,000, 300,000, 300, 609. Like there's barely ever a video under 200,000 views. There's an exception, but as you can see, the consistency is crazy simply due to the sheer fact that we have a certain amount of followers. And that's the beauty off of Instagram, is you're basically guaranteed a certain amount of views, a certain amount of reach, just based off how many followers you have. Okay, so that's the beauty of Instagram, is that when people go and when you post a video, people scroll through their home feed. So there's a higher likelihood of them seeing your videos, because when you scroll through the home feed, you're not just getting videos that are suggested to you, you're getting a lot of the videos that from people who follow you, from the people you follow. Compared to TikTok, which I think is the worst social platform out of all these, and I'm going to explain in just a second. So TikTok is the easiest platform to gain traction, but the least rewarding. So I would say 2 million followers on TikTok is like 100,000 on YouTube, just because of the quality of viewers, the quality of followers. You gain followers a lot quicker. A viral video can make you famous, but link in bios don't work for people under 18. So like us, since we have a younger audience, if someone who's under 18 goes and clicks on our page, they can't see this link in bio, which is basically how you sell and how you monetize your audience. So it's basically our funnel. As you can see, it also comes up with this disclaimer as well. So this just creates extra friction and drastically decreases conversions. People don't really look at stories. Stories don't get many views, no matter how many followers you have. You can't set up automations to DMs to drive traffic to any funnel / links. So for us on Instagram, you see when people comment, we're like, yo, comment this academy and I'll send this video to you. You can't do this on TikTok. So from a monetization standpoint, when you want to drive traffic to something, it doesn't work on TikTok, right? So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, you can have 1 million followers and a bad video can get below 10K views. And as well, like, you know, consistency on Instagram is more relevant, happens a lot more than TikTok. Because no matter how many followers you have, 1.3 million followers, like we do, let's say, look, as you can see, a bad video, 59,000 views. But we have 1 million people who follow us, trying to get like at least 100,000, 200,000. As you can see, like, it's very drastic. So when you get a good video, it does really well. When you have a terrible video like this, it does really poorly. And this is like 3 weeks of it being up. So with TikTok as well, and why that happens is because a lot of people who watch TikTok videos are watching it through the For You page. As you can see, when I searched it up, the first thing that came up was the For You page. Not the following, simply the For You page. And if your video isn't deemed a high performer, doesn't matter, because it won't pop up on, it just won't show up on the For You page for other people for all the people that follow you, or for other people that follow you. So your video immediately gets pushed out to a specific number of people who are following you on their For You page, and based on their activity and how they engage with the video, it gets pushed out to a lot more people. So when a video underperforms, it gets pushed out to a lot less people. And that following tab doesn't really make any difference because people don't scroll on TikTok from the following tab either. So your best bet is Instagram and YouTube. But on Instagram, even a terrible video will get pushed out to an average much higher. People don't see videos and following, only For You pages, so a follower holds very little weight. So it's the worst platform to sell on. So a follower doesn't really mean anything on TikTok. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Not as much as it means to Instagram or YouTube. LinkedIn, right? We don't have a LinkedIn page, but LinkedIn, a lot of other creators are going on LinkedIn, which is going to be, especially if you're in the corporate space where you're real estate, some job office. If you're in the workspace, real estate can be one of those platforms that can really help you, and it's like an untapped market. So yeah, if you're in real estate, office, job-esque environments, then this is the place for you. They have introduced Reels like Instagram and TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, right? You can build a real audience off of this platform. Next is X. Is the most underrated social platform of all time. You will not get many views or followers from the social platform, but the people on X are very high quality, meaning that the people who are on X are a lot more, you can say a lot of people who are much more educated, and people who are, you could say, very analytical, people who like to read, learn. You won't get millions or hundreds of thousands of views, or even rarely ever get tens of thousands. But the people who do see your posts on X are people who actually want to learn and get something out of that, out of X. So yeah, you can get hundreds of views on a post and still close a client / get a sale. You attract a higher quality focused audience in your space, and completely different. So X is a completely different strategy to every other social platform, but if you do it well and you're really consistent and learn the name of the game, you can rip. The thing is with X, you have to be careful on is there's no videos. It's purely copy. It's purely copy and finding different ways around it. I think Instagram Threads is the same thing as X. So if you're gonna post stuff here, post stuff on Instagram Threads as well. That's gonna really help. Facebook, here you have to understand, like, Facebook it has the most active users in the world, but it has an older audience. A lot of people who are on Facebook as well are in third world countries. So Asia specifically, Africa as well. Usually they're a harder audience to sell to, just because their currency is much lower. So coming from a monetization standpoint, Facebook probably a lower quality platform, but obviously if you're a lot of older individuals are on this, so if you're targeting like the example I gave before, 40 plus women who are dealing with menopause, then you need to be on this platform, because you're just missing out on so many people that you can target if you're not on it. But yeah, people on this sort of platform are very harsh because the typical user on this platform, because they're older. From a monetization standpoint, not very useful either, because you can't really drive traffic through videos. If people comment, they're not going to receive it in their DMs. Instagram will be the best for that, and right, but it completely depends on your audience. If you have an older audience, then yes, it's much more effective compared to a younger audience. But for our audience, Facebook doesn't really convert and doesn't really sell, right? Even though we have 100,000 followers on Facebook, it doesn't really do anything for us. So yeah, that was step 1 and 2. Now going into step 3 is creation. Before you post, right? So now getting into actually creating the videos, so the fun part. You want to do your research, see what's performing super well in your space and what is not, and create an in-depth analysis breaking down patterns that you recognize. So here's how you're going to do this. For Instagram, you're going to, for shorts, reels, and all these, for all of these, you're going to create a research account. So this is a research account, which is basically an account that you create that is completely new. You don't follow anyone, you have no followers, you start from zero. Okay, and then you go and search up people in your space. You go and follow them, follow as many as you can. So this is for content creation, creating content around how to create content. So people who create content, educating people on how to create good content. You follow everyone that you can think of possible, engage with it, like the videos, like the posts, and then when you come into your Explorer, this is all you're gonna be seeing is people 5-step breakdown how you can get 3 to 4K a month, right? Like it's just gonna be directed. The content you're gonna be seeing is directed to that demographic or to that niche that you want to see. There's gonna be an outlier, like a couple that don't play into it, but the majority will. Like example, in this video, right, which talks about a viral way to edit your videos, Instagram first hour principle. There's going to be random stuff like this, but the more you engage with the videos in the space that you want, the more of those you're going to see. And when you scroll through your homepage as well, your homepage shows you some of the best performing videos from the people that you follow and the most recent ones. As you can see, personal brand launch is small creators that blew up, whatever it can be. Take a look, and then you can gain so much inspiration from these content, from these videos, and it'll give you an idea on what's going viral, what's not going viral, and then you can make content based off the research from this research account. We do the same thing for soccer. We find videos that do super well in our space consistently, and by looking at all these accounts, we get an idea of what's popping, what's going viral right now, and we do this through 3 demographics. 3 social platforms. One is Instagram, the next is TikTok, soccer. We just search up keywords like this. For TikTok, the strategy is different. You won't really have a research account. You could, and then only engage with the soccer accounts, or in your niche, only engage with the accounts in your niche, and then your For You page will only just be videos that you've engaged with in the past. So like we search up soccer, we'll look at different videos. Okay, this is done well. How many views has this got? 2.6 million likes. Okay, boom, boom, boom. It just gives us an idea of what content to create. And then you could even search up specific words about it. Soccer skills. Okay, now we can see what skills are doing super well. This is done well. Okay, then this video of ours did super well. Okay, cool. This video is done well. Okay, then we just get a better understanding of what's doing well. And we can take these ideas write it down, and see how we want to execute it and get it done. All right, so for YouTube, it's going to be slightly different for YouTube, but the overall arching strategy is the same. You want to create a new account and only watch content in your niche. By doing this behavior, YouTube will only push you content in that space, so you will be able to directly see what people are watching in your niche, which is super important, because when you upload a piece of content on YouTube, or like when you create a new account and you're watching a piece of content on YouTube, I'm sure you've recognized how when you watch one video that's, let's say, about soccer, and then you get pushed another soccer video a couple minutes later. And what's happening here is that YouTube's identifying the content you like to watch by analyzing your behavior. And by analyzing your behavior, it pushes you content that's directly targeted to you, that you want to see and that you've seen before. And by doing this, you're going to be able to see what content's been doing well recently, what content has done really well, what content is starting to pick up some momentum. And by doing that, you'll be able to see, again, get an idea of what video ideas do well, how to execute, and just get a better understanding of what to create content around and how to create content. So now that you have an idea of what does well, just post consistently. So in the beginning of your social media journey, just post. Doesn't matter, or even if you're a bit more advanced but you don't have a big audience, before we emphasize quality, you just got to get reps in the tank. Your content will not be good, understand that, it will flop, and that's okay, right? But during the meantime, you'll understand how to present, get more comfortable creating content, and it will give you a better understanding of what your audience wants to see, what they don't want to see. So before we go into step 4, which talks about how to identify high performers, low performers, and look at performance drivers, right? Understand patterns and rhythms on why videos do well, and show you my exact process to finding high performing videos on Instagram and YouTube. You first just have to post. So now you have an idea on what does well, just come up with a hypothesis on what you think is going to do well, and just post. Just get content out there. You just got to get reps in the tank and get comfortable presenting in front of a camera. And once you've done that, I suggest twice a week on YouTube in the beginning. Forget about views. Don't worry about views. Views will come over time when you go through the iteration process. And then just once a day as a reel on these social platforms. Right? You can repurpose that one Instagram reel for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, in LinkedIn, and Facebook. Okay, so just get consistent and just post. All right, so now that you've posted and all that good stuff, and just reinstating here, before we optimize for quality, we just need consistent reps. We need some sort of momentum, and the creator needs to get in the habit of creating content and conquer the resistance that comes with it. So, you know what's crazy? For the first 2-3 years, when I was just creating content for fun, and that 2-3 years of creating content, obviously you're not going to be creating content for 2-3 years before you start prioritizing for performance and start making money out of it. But when I was 16, I was just creating content just for the fun of it. And through that consistent action of creating content every single day, I got very comfortable presenting in front of a camera. And later on, when I decided to take content more seriously, I understood the process I need to go through in terms of filming, editing, getting the videos ready, and I was more comfortable in front of the camera, so I was able to present better. And because I was posting so much, I was able to see what works and what doesn't work, which ties back into iteration. But you need to just get reps in the tank and just get comfortable being in front of the camera, because if you're not, it makes everything so much harder. You're not able to give information with much more conviction. When someone feels like a video is very robotic, AI, they're less willing to trust you, and they're less willing to actually buy or subscribe to you, which will be hard to make money from. So you just got to present and forget about views, just forget about reach, forget about everything. Just come up with the video idea, present. Just come up with the video idea, present. Just get comfortable in front of the camera and getting reps in the tank. And every single creator that you've seen that has done super well and is super big right now, there was a moment in time where they were just posting videos just to post videos. And through that process of just constantly posting videos, they've got comfortable. And that was the foundation that set them up for when they started taking content more seriously. And then step 4, which is the fun part, is Iteration. The iteration is the repetition of a process. So basically, when you post something, instead of just posting another video, right, you go through the process of seeing what works and then looking at what's working, what didn't work, and then based on that feedback and that information that you get, you post a new video. But you're consistent with it and you repeat the same process again and again and again and again. So how does it work and why? It is super important to constantly look at how your content did, then recreate based off the consistent daily feedback. This way you create content that is compelling, engaging, and that actually gets you views, followers, and makes you a shit ton of money. So how do we do this? By using this process of gold, silver, bronze. The process of gold, silver, bronze I'm going to teach you guys is basically the scientific method. So let's say, like we did here, you come up with a hypothesis on what video is going to perform in the very beginning. Then you go post a video, right, which is experimenting. And then once you post, you come back into the iteration process, which is the gold, silver, bronze. You analyze why the video did well, didn't do well. Then you come up with a conclusion on why the video didn't do well, or a video did well, or why it didn't do well. And you observe on how you can make the video better. And then you come up with another hypothesis. Based off that information, you constantly repeat the cycle to create better videos, engaging videos. And this process just never stops, because you have to understand with content, it is super, super important to just constantly be on your toes, because there's going to be times where content just, even after a while, like even with us, there's times where content just flops super hard. That's been doing well like a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago. And why content flops is because market shifts, people change. There's something called audience fatigue. When they see a piece of video or a piece of content in that same format over a long period of time, they get super used to it. So it's not something that stands out to them anymore. It's like, oh, it's another one of these videos, skip. So you have to constantly be in this process of seeing what works and constantly iterating based off of it. Because if you don't, that's where you see creators, they eventually slowly start to fall off. That's why you've seen creators who have millions of followers, but because they've been trying the same thing that worked 2 years ago and trying to do it again and again and again years later, they eventually fall off. So you have to shift as the market shifts. And this is why this gold, silver process is very important, even after, even at a stage like ours. So this gold, silver, bronze process, which I'm going to be explaining now, is a research process that compares 3 different view counts of videos to identify patterns, performance drivers between the high performers and low performers. By doing this, you can recognize why a video outperforms another, then apply the same concepts for your own video. Then, when you upload a video, you can come back and redo this process to see what was the difference between your video and the high performers / low performers. Constantly improving and analyzing. So to give you a better example of this, gold, silver, bronze. So what does it mean? How do you do it? Gold is every video that has over 1 million views. So every video that you see here has over 1 million views. Silver is every video that's from 100K to up to 1 million. And the bronze is every video under 100K. Let's say 0 to 100K views. Obviously, this range will differ. This range will differ from niche to niche, but this is kind of how it works. So every video that's over 1 million views. So before I get into that, you may be asking, what video? What do you mean by video over 1 million views? When you're first starting out content, when you're in this phase, you want to take video ideas from in your niche, let's say soccer, and categorize every single video in this way. Every video has over 1 million views here, 100,000 to 1 million, whatever, and just find 3 different ranges that you can categorize these groups to. Basically, low performers, mid performers, high performers. Categorize them in that specific group. And based on that, watch the videos, compare it, and make notes and analyze why this video got more views than this video, and why this video got more views than this video, or why this video drastically underperformed compared to this video. Take notes, be very specific, write even the formats. This video was filmed in this format, and this video was filmed in this format. This video was filmed in the worst format because it didn't display the message properly. And when you come up with this conclusion on which format has done consistently well, how do they present the information, and discover other performance drivers, then you go out and script a video based off of it. And you may be wondering, but I created a video, but I posted a video, so how do I take the analytics from my video and how do I apply it to this? So there's two ways to do it. When you've posted consistently like us over like a year, this gold, silver, bronze process is only done on our videos. So you can see this is one video off of ours. That's bronze. I didn't do super well. This is another video that did pretty well, decently well. It got 200,000 views, and this is a video that got 4 million views. Okay, so when you've posted so many videos over such a long period of time, you can do this process through your own videos. And you can see this is all of our videos. And from looking at this, I identified that the gold videos always started with this. And I always said, yeah, student's name. There's a hard dynamic element in the beginning. I say the mistake as he does it. I get pissed off at a student in a backhanded way. Really good, simple coaching points. So going through this process has made me realize that, look, this is what's worked in every single one of these videos, and these are the patterns that I recognized from all the high performers. So moving on, I'm going to take these notes here and then script videos based off it like I've done here. Okay, so what you're going to do is just analyze your videos and do this with it. And if you're not at a point where you have, like me, like so many videos, to where you can see the high performers, low performers, even if you have one, what I suggest, let's say you just posted your own first video or second video or whatever. Take that video, take the two videos and compare it to other videos in your niche, specifically in the same format. And format is just the execution video style. So you can see this video style is like coaching, where either my student or me do it well, and then either me or my student do it well, and then you correct them. They do it well, they do the mistake, and then you correct the mistake. So it's the same format. The text and the words change here and there, but ultimately it's the same format. Ideally, you want to compare your video and someone else's video in the same format, so same style of presentation, same visuals, somewhat same visuals, and then just identify why their video outperformed and why your video didn't, and just compare it through the silver ranking videos, the gold ranking videos, and the bronze ranking videos, and identify performance drivers within it and make notes of it like I done here, and then go and script your next upcoming videos. So yeah, a bit of a process, but that's the same process I use. These are the most recent videos that we've created, that I've scripted, that we just filmed last week, that we have yet to see how it does this week. So yeah, that's the process. It's very simple. It doesn't take that much time. It's not very complicated. And yeah, then when you upload a video, you come back and when you upload a video, you come back and redo this process to see what was the difference between your video and the high performance, low performance, and constant comparing and analyzing. For short form content, the secret to winning on short form content is finding a winning format that consistently does well. So like I said, this explained format right here, you want to keep trying this process until you find a style of execution, which is a winning format, that does consistently well. So this does consistently well. And once you find something that does consistently well, then you double down and try new things out. Then you change the copy, change the video idea, change this, then change that, and also ultimately see if you can find an outlier within the format, like we done here. We found an outlier. We found outliers within the same format that we're gonna apply to every other video that we create in the future. That is how you win on social media. That's how we win. That's how we won. Every single one of these videos you can see is only 4 under 100,000 views. And there's 4 that have 8.4 million views. And that right there has probably got us like 30,000-40,000 followers. So yeah, that is how you win with short form content. You follow this process until you find a format that does well. And once you find a format that does consistently well, then you double down and you try and find outliers within the format. And by doing that, that's when you get to a point where we were at, where a video gets 8 million views. And then you see what's working within that, and then try and replicate that in every single video moving on. With long form content, it's the same thing basically. It's finding a format that gets views and converts. So it's the same application, so it's the same idea, but just in a different style. So with long form content, you have to find thumbnails that do consistently well, that does well for you in your space, in your niche. I would say you have to find a couple of thumbnails, a couple of thumbnails that do consistently well. Titles, you have to recognize patterns in titles of the high performers within your niche. And by looking at that, you can test out different title styles, different title structures, compare, contrast, and just kind of get an idea of what consistently does well with within your space on YouTube for your videos. And then for the actual video format itself, it's like the short form content. You can find many styles that do super well, many formats that do super well, and in this video, and repeat that to get a bunch of views. So like this video is very similar to this video. As you can see, same style, obviously words change. But this video got 500,000 views, and this video got 72,000 views in only 2 weeks. So we're currently in the process of testing out a bunch of different formats, seeing what works and what doesn't work consistently. So this is a recent one that's worked for us consistently, and we're applying the same concept to a different style, to a different aspect of football, and then we're going to be applying the same aspect to the same format to another style, and see how that performs as well, to skills. So we've kind of doubled down on this format because this is a 1 out of 10 for us. We're also going to double down on this format as well because this did do super well in the next upcoming weeks. But these two styles have been outliers for us, so we're going to double down on this. But before then, we tried a bunch of different formats, and some have done super well. But there's going to be some formats that are going to be hard to replicate, and it's a 1 out of 1. Like this video right here, how I would go pro if I had to start over. It's very hard to replicate this video in other topics. So this is like one of those videos where it's like a 1 out of 1. You can't really replicate this video into like any other topic unless you get super creative and you play around with it. But something like this, where it's talking about a specific skill, you can replicate it for juggling, other skill moves, right? So this isn't a one size fits all. So this format can be applied to so many different principles and so many different video ideas. So yeah, once you do that, once you go through this process, same process that I followed, you will get hundreds, tens of millions of views. But remember, last thing to remember, like I said previously, formats and styles will start working at times. It may take a while to discover the right one. You will have to discover a couple of format styles rather than just focusing on one. So yeah, there will be times where a format just stops working. There will be times where something just breaks, right? But if you follow this process of constantly trying, testing, seeing what's working, and being super analytical and being super up to date, you'll consistently find outliers within content, and you'll be consistently able to create banging videos and grow an audience that you can eventually monetize and sell to. And that's the secret behind ZTA training. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to learn from me, there'll be a first link in the description where you can book a call with me and my team, and we'll be able to see how we can help you. Want to work with us, kind of speed run the process, and just directly get the formula that's worked for ZTA training. There's going to be a link